Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, what I like to do is to create the types of videos that I would have found useful when I first started to buy precious metals, jewelry, silver, things at thrift shops and garage sales. What I'm going to do right now is actually go through this pile of silverware in front of you, and we're going to talk about what is silver, solid silver, what is silver plate, and why. And we'll just go through piece by piece, and we'll figure out what's what in this stack, and we'll talk about the things to look for. And without further ado, let's just start grabbing from the top down. When you're out and about, you'll find these types of things in silverware bins. And there's a lot of different things we're going to look for. When I see something like this, the first thing that I would tend to spot would be this color right here. That's a good color. That's tarnish. So that tells you, as opposed to if we're looking there, that's real dang shiny, like really dang shiny, because that is a piece of stainless steel. And you can tell after a while, you can see there's a big difference there. We're not looking for brand new sterling generally. We're not going to generally find, when we're at a thrift shop or garage sale, something that's sterling that looks like it's, freshly polished like this. So this is something that catches my eye. And then the second thing you'll want to look at is, hey, look, there's more of them. There's another one. Let's see if we were digging through the bin. Would there be? Here we go. There's another one. And any more? I don't know that I'm seeing any more. Nope. So we got 3 of them. But the nice thing there is that since they're all the same, we can check to see, hey, is this sterling or is this just plate? Flip them over and we'll know that all 3 of them are Rogers, WM Rogers. Now there's a lot of Rogers out there. You'll start to notice that there's like just a bajillion Rogers names. The nice thing about Rogers is that pretty much, unless it's very, very old, in which case you're going to be eyeballing it for other reasons, it's just going to say sterling. So if it says Rogers, it's silver plate, and that's what this is. We're also going to discard this stainless steel piece, and we'll just keep on going through this pile here. Another thing that you'll often want to look at is very ornate, very pretty pieces like this one. This is quite pretty, and it looks pretty good. Looks like it's definitely got some silver. If I scrub it a little bit there, it gets nice and clean. So that would be something I would definitely reach for. I'm seeing some signs that this might not be so good. It looks like it's got some wear right through in here. But, at a glance, this looks pretty good, except for these little scratches in here. It looks like they're uncovering something else. So flip it over and look. See this right here? That little patch? That is a very, very common, if not the most common place that a silver plate spoon wears through to the base metal. So you can tell this one's plate because of that. You can see that it's worn through even before you look at the markings. And in this case, our markings are, again, Rogers Brothers. And I think, I'm not sure what we got right there. But if this were sterling and it was Rogers, it would say sterling. It's a nice spoon. I bet this would make a nice ring for somebody who's ring bending. But it's really not too terribly functional anymore now that you're worn through the silver. And it is not sterling. Okay, continue through here. You'll see a lot of stuff like this these days. Stainless, very, very clearly stainless. And the thing is, if you just train your eye, you'll start to notice these things like right off the bat and just be able to dismiss it. There's no mistaking stainless for sterling after you've been at it for a while, even if something's really shiny. So I'm gonna grab this piece right here and we'll talk about it. These are both super shiny, right? Both look dang good. But if we flip this one over, we'll see we have heirloom sterling. And then you'll start to notice that there is like a little bit of a tarnish down in there. Despite it being super duper shiny, polished, and nice looking, you start to see compared to your, where did I lose it? Compared to your stainless piece, you can start to see down in the deep parts where there's tarnish. And when you compare the two, even really nicely polished sterling doesn't look the same as stainless. And this is a good example of heirloom sterling, a newer piece like 60s, 70s, 80s. And heirloom sterling is a brand of Oneida. Oneida made this. Stanton Hall being the pattern. So if you found this spoon and thought, that is the prettiest spoon I've ever seen, I want more of it, you would just go find Stanton Hall, and you could then fill out your set, and you wouldn't have just one soup spoon. All right, let's keep going. Knives. Now, these can get tricky, because what will frequently happen with these is that they will be, they're pretty much always going to be, you can see there's two different materials here. We have stainless, and then we have something, maybe silver. And sometimes if they are sterling, they'll say sterling here, here, or here. In this case, I don't think we're seeing anything like that. And I have a slight leg up on you because I had to look this one up. When I was digging through, well, I was cleaning, and I found a pile of old silver plate, which I had already sorted out at some earlier date and thought I would make this video by mixing in some of my sterling for you. So I've done a little bit of digging on this one. And the reason I did a little bit of digging on this one was because of this. See what it says, heirloom stainless? So I've learned a little bit since I put this one away after we had a flood. And I thought, oh, heirloom. I wonder if all Oneida heirloom is sterling. Because sometimes these won't say that they're sterling handles. And then what you have to do is you have to look up the pattern. Because, you know, this is heirloom sterling, and this is just heirloom. Turns out there is also heirloom plate, and that's what this is. If you go find this pattern, do quite a lot of digging. Sometimes Google Lens can do it for you. That little snap a picture and it will give you something. Sometimes not. Oftentimes you just have to go and do some manual digging. In this case, I knew that heirloom was Oneida, so I was able to go dig around and look for Oneida silver patterns, and I didn't find any that were sterling, but then I did find one that was plate. So this is a plate, stainless steel blade, plated handle. And again, when you're digging through bins, once you've identified one, you go, whoop, there's another one. That can go out. Do we have anything else in here? We don't. We only have two of those in here. So those can go get set aside. Okay. This one was kind of interesting. I wanted to include it because it looks like it's got issues. Just because something has issues doesn't mean it's not going to be good scrap for you. Somebody was doing something to this one. This should not be that flat or that bent. But it is definitely silver plate. You've got this nice nice tarnish, nice patina going on, toning. That kind of black color you see right there, we like that color. That color is something that you will learn to love the more you do this, because that indicates there's quite a bit of silver there, and it's been sitting and tarnishing for a while. But with a nice piece like this, you can flip it over and see, what do we got? We've got Fenway silver plate. So Fenway is a nice company that told us that's plate. Okay, what else do we want to look for? This is always a good thing to look for. You see how this is bent right here? See how that's got an issue right through there? That's a really good sign for silver, because that means that this thing's old. It's been damaged at some point in its existence, and the silver or the material was thin enough that it was able to bend like that. When you're making something out of a base metal, you know, like brass or copper, you're gonna probably do it a little thicker. You're not worried about your base materials. You're not worried about the expense of your base materials. So you see something like that, the first thing is, ooh, that looks good. Then the second thing that looks good is this is all hand engraving. See, somebody went at this with a chisel and a hammer and made all of this engraving. So I'm seeing this, I'm getting pretty excited because I know I've got myself some silver. Now the question is what kind of silver, and then we look for markings. Sometimes something like this won't have markings. In this case it does. So we've got something. Maybe if there's anyone in Europe who speaks, I'm thinking maybe Dutch. 1911. Yeah, I'm not sure. And then G.A. Abrahamson, 13 1/4. Now, here's where things get funny and where you really want to be careful if you're paying real money for something, excited if you're paying thrift shop bin money. That 13 1/4 is 13 1/4 Loth or Loth, L-O-T-H, and that's an old Germanic method of denoting the silver content. Off the top of my head, I don't recall what 13 1/4 meant. I don't think it's quite sterling, but it is high silver content, and it is solid silver, just not 92.5%. I think it was like 90 or 89 or something like that. And after doing a little digging, I found out that what's going on here is that this is what's called a captain's spoon. And there's an old tradition, and I'm not sure which countries exactly this tradition happens in. I'm guessing most of the Scandinavian countries. Just a guess. I'll have to maybe do a little digging, or someone can fill me in a little bit more. But there's sort of an old tradition where you buy your provisions for a trip, and you get a bit of a kickback in the form of silver for the captain's table. So whoever it is you're buying your provisions from gives you some silver. And in this case, this was a trip that was made in 1911. And since this isn't at the bottom of the ocean, I'm guessing that this was, in fact, lucky, as is the old tradition. Okay, let's finish this off real quick. I'm going to do some sort of quick things here. I'm going to have a glance, and I'm going to say, well, what looks really good in here? What looks really bad? We'll take out what looks bad. This just looks too good. Doesn't look like silver. See the yellow? Even doesn't quite look like super polished silver. See, there's more of a black to it. But I'll tell you, when the silver is polished, you could be fooled. And that's part of why I have this piece out here, because this is sterling and this is stainless, and you can see here. And sometimes stainless, yeah, what do we got? We got Oneida. Yep, stainless. And sometimes stainless will get a little black around the edges. So don't be afraid to grab stuff and look at it, and always carry your magnifying glass. Just always have it in your pocket so you can always check, even if something's just stainless. Let's grab these three here. Look, they're all the same, which is always a nice thing. Say you see a bin and there's a bunch of stuff that's all the same. Boom, boom, boom. All you have to do is identify one of them. Let's see, what do we have on the blade? The blade is usually the first place that I will go. And there we have Rogers Brothers. So, you know, blade. Because Rogers will tell you if it's sterling. Okay, let's continue through here real quick. Sometimes stainless can be pretty cool. And I know we have a few people who are into old militaria out there. And when you're out and about, you will find military silverware. And that's what this is. This is a stainless. I believe these were like for officers' mess. And MD is the medical department, I think. So this is for like, maybe like what the folks on that MASH show would have been using, would have been this stuff. I love it. I would highly suggest grabbing it when you see it, because it is basically indestructible. And this is my daily use silverware. which was down in my silver plate here. So I need to actually wash that and take it up, and we'll use that. All right, let's continue through here. You might have been looking at this one. So we have another one. Now let's see, do we have any markings? So I don't see any markings. Sometimes there'll be say something here. We don't have anything. However, Lunt is a classy outfit. Sterling handle, stainless blade. So with a lot of this stuff, you'll find that's the case, where it will tell you that this is sterling, especially with the stuff you're most likely to find. So in this case, even though the handle isn't marked sterling, it is sterling, at least on the outside. The inside is filled with stuff. And if you're interested in what's inside of these, go hit my scrapping videos. I've got a few videos where I'm actually taking some of these old trashed out ones apart. All right. Looks good. Toning, kind of messed up a little bit, but I'm not seeing any brass coming through. Really got, oh, wait, nope, look there. See the brass? Where it got damaged? So that right there is where the plate got chewed through. Yep, upside down. Rogers, extra plate, original Rogers. You'll find a lot of Rogers if you're out doing this. You probably already have found a lot of Rogers. What about this guy? What do we think about this guy? Man, that looks kind of roached out. Doesn't look that great. Seeing any copper coming through? Kind of messed up. Dirty. I'm not seeing any copper though. What do you think? Well, what do you know? International sterling courtship pattern. So never overlook something that just kind of looks bad. I mean, it looks, well, it looks like this one. What's this one? What we got here? This guy looks real good, doesn't it? Fun shape. Not seeing anything coming through. Real pretty design. Uh-oh. Am I seeing some verdigris? Am I seeing some green right there? Or is that just something that's built up on the surface? I actually don't remember if this one's sterling or not, so we're going to find out together. This one is Colonial Silver. Huh. Well, I don't know. What do you folks think? I'm going to have to do a little Googling on this one. I think this came out of my silver plate box, but I don't recall ever looking this one up, and man, does it look good. So, yeah, I don't know. Tell me what you think. We will find out on this one. I guess we'll have to do a follow-up video at some point, unless someone in the comments knows what Colonial Silver is, because that's not one that I've heard of. And it looks dang good, but doesn't say sterling. So we're going to have to set that one aside and go research that further. All right, let's finish up here. We got 3 more pieces. This guy kind of looks not bad. Let's check the markings. Dorco nickel. So, nice thing about that is it's telling you what it is. That is nickel silver. And when I say nickel silver, or German silver, or alpaca, or there's a bajillion names for it. But what it is it's a mix of nickel and other metals to made to look like silver, and it is not. So if you see something that's nickel, you've got a good notion that it's at least it's one metal, which can fool you because you're not finding any plate coming through it. But the problem with it is that it is not silver, and there is no silver in it. 2 more pieces. Are these going to be silver? What do you think? Let's look at them. What's this guy? They sure look pretty similar in terms of like. Not sure what that means. Looks pretty dang good, but a little off maybe. Let's look at our spot where we usually get wear. I'm not seeing it. Oneida. So Oneida will tell you if it's silver. So this guy's definitely going to be plate. Nice piece though. And that's a real good example of a plate piece that is a very thick plate. I'm guessing that it's hotel plate because this is maybe for a hotel. And hotel plate will be where they actually like put a lot of silver on the top of it because it's going to see hard hotel wear use. So it's going to see a lot of use, and they would plate. So hotel silver can often look very, very good. But it will say sterling if it's sterling. So even if it looks really good, if it's hotel silver, you know it's still thick plate. Last piece. Place your bets. Place your bets. Let's have a look. This one looks really good. But then again, the last one looked really good. Here we have our black tarnish we really like. Nice toning all over it. Not seeing anything coming through. Definitely needs a polish, definitely needs a clean. What do we think? Oh, 830. So this is a David Anderson piece, and that's 830 silver. So that's at least 83% silver. I'm finding a lot of the David Anderson pieces when we put them on the XRF machine come up as sterling. So I know at one point the law was that they had to be marked 830, and then even if they were using a higher metal content like 925, the law was you have to put 830 on it. So they put 830 on things that they were still making out of sterling for other reasons. And I don't know if that's what this one is. This one, you only really want to assume 830 because that's what it's saying. But this is a nice spoon from an ice maker. Not particularly special, but a nice size. Would be good for serving. All right, so I'll leave you with this guy. I don't know what's going on with Colonial Silver here. If anyone does, I'd love to know. I'm thinking maybe plate, but there's a little bit of green down in there. I don't like that. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll see if I can do a follow-up video. We'll try to hit the pawn shop, and we'll find out about that one. I hope you found this information useful. If you have, go ahead and please leave any comments about anything you would like to know more on. If you haven't yet, I hope I earned your subscription. And have yourself a great day. Go find some treasure.